Life is like an airplane. The airplane doesn't go with the flow of the wind. The airplane takes off against the wind. I want you to know that life is very similar to an airplane. In order for you to get to your destination, you must first and have to find a way to persevere through the wind that is fighting against you, the wind that is trying to hold you back, push you down, keep you down. If you can find a way to get through your storm, your wind, the strong winds that are fighting against you to hold you and tell you, making you believe that you can get through whatever it is that you are going through, if you can find a way to persevere and get through your storm, you will overcome so many things you didn't even know you were capable of achieving. You didn't even know you were capable of overcoming. Again, life is like an airplane. The airplane doesn't take off with the flow of the wind. The airplane takes off against it. And very similarly, in order for you to get to your destination, in order for you to get to wherever it is that you are not, in order for you to go from here to where you are to there, which is again where you are not, you have to fight through the wind. That's the whole purpose of these strong winds. It isn't to keep you where you are. It isn't to crack you. It isn't to break you. The purpose of life is going to send storms, strong weather conditions our way that is going to put us on the verge to break, crack, maybe even hold us down. And it is those moments, those storms, that create you into who you are. It is those storms that developed oftentimes the most successful people. The most successful people and has gone through so much adversity, has gone through something so difficult and challenging, but they found a way on how to overcome whatever it is that they were going through. If you can find a way to persevere, if you can find a way to continue pushing through, if you can find a way to learn, and when you learn, if you can find a way to grow through what you go through, you will overcome so many things you didn't even know you were capable of overcoming. You will achieve so many things that you didn't even know you were capable of achieving, of accomplishing. So many people that has faced some of the craziest stories are oftentimes the most successful. To put in perspective on why you matter, and just how worthy you are, how special you are. To put in perspective, it took your parents to create you. And not just your parents, it took your parents' story. It took your parents overcoming whatever it is, all the things they had gone through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to create you. And if you go deeper, it took your grandparents to overcome all the things that they had gone through and overcome to create your parents, which then ultimately created you. And it goes even much deeper. It took your great-grandparents to overcome and get through everything that they had gone through, finding the strength to endure, to finding the ability to persevere whatever it is that they were going through, that ultimately created your grandparents, then which ultimately created your parents, and which again ultimately created you. That's how special you are. You do matter. I wanted to make this video because if you are in the midst of going through something challenging, you are capable of overcoming it. In order for you to get to wherever it is that you are not, in order for you to go from here to there, you have to find the ability to persevere through whatever it is that you are going through. And to give you a much greater example and perspective on how worthy you are, how much you matter, is you have the ability to create future generations to come. If you can find a way to persevere, if you can find the strength to push through, if you can find the ability to endure and overall grow through what you go through, if you can find the ability to learn, to grow, the ability to overcome everything that you go through, you have the ability to create future generations. Again, off the most successful people, some of the most successful people have suffered through the most pain, have endured through the most pain. To give you just a few people off the top of my head, Oprah Winfrey, she has a very challenging story where she, if you look, I don't want to mention in this video, but she overcame a lot, especially at childhood, a lot. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that happened that she never even shared. And she overcame a lot. She suffered a lot. I'm currently reading a book on David Goggins. David Goggins, for those of you who don't know, he is a Navy SEAL. He went through 3 hell weeks. He literally went through 3 hell weeks, but he has it's probably one of my most, at least one of the stories that I've ever personally come across. He has one of the most inspiring stories because he had went through a lot. Literally, he has gone through a lot. He was abused emotionally, physically, and challenged spiritually. However, he found a way to endure and persevere through whatever it is he was going through. Ellen DeGeneres, because she's in the LGBTQ community. I hope that's appropriate for me to say. I apologize. I'm still learning. Anyhow, Ellen DeGeneres, because she is in the LGBTQ community, she was very challenged because she likes the same sex. She had gone through a lot. And again, all these people I'm mentioning has shared their story, which helped inspire so many others. Grant Cardone, one of the most successful real estate investors, he has built a massive empire with him and his wife and built a beautiful family. And he had went through a lot. He was severely addicted on drugs, heavily. He was severely addicted on drugs. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think, don't quote me on this actually, excuse me, but I think he was almost beaten to death with a handgun. Someone hit him in the face, and I think he had to get like over 100 stitches or around 100 stitches, something like that. Anyhow, he has a very powerful story. What I'm trying to say is that if you are undergoing pain, if you are in pain, I want to, for full transparency, I want to say pain as in non-self-inflicting, pain as in the things you cannot control, things that are beyond your control. If you can find a way to endure the pain, persevere through the storm, you will overcome so many things. But most importantly, that I wanted to personally mention is your parents, the ones who created you, whether it's with your mom or your father, even maybe your siblings, whoever raised you, your guardian, has gone through so much and persevered through so much, endured so much that you can't even imagine. I can't even imagine in today's world. I can't even imagine. We have no idea on how much our ancestors really had it tough, really had it hard. My grandmother she went through a very rough childhood. My mother went through a very rough childhood. I was raised by my mom. She went through a very rough childhood. My grandma went through a very rough childhood. They didn't have the technology. They didn't have the resources. They really didn't have what today's generation has. And I wanted to mention that too, because if it wasn't for our ancestors, our parents, our grandmothers, our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, and so on and so forth, if they didn't find the strength to endure everything that they had gone through, if they didn't find the ability to persevere through whatever it is that they were in the midst of and going through, you wouldn't exist. You matter. You are so worthy. I genuinely mean this. You matter. You have a purpose. if you are in the midst of a storm, if you were in the midst of going through something very challenging, something very painful, and again, pain as in non-self-inflicting, if you can find the ability to learn from your own personal journey, if you can find the ability to learn from other people's journey, whether they share their story or maybe through just observation, if you can find a way to learn, if you can find a way to grow through what you go through, if you can find the ability to persevere, you will overcome so much and so many things you didn't even know you were capable of overcoming. That's the purpose of our life, our story. Is we can't. I wanted to hear, but I also wanted to mention the reason why we have bad days. I came up with a saying. I know I'll end it with a quote. The bad days shows us the bad days build our character, and the good days shows us why to never give up. Anyhow, I hope this video brought some form of value to you. It was fairly long. I hope this video was able to bring some form of value to you as I make these videos. I mentioned this in just about almost every video. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm developing my storytelling skills, my ability to communicate. I am learning and growing, to say the least. Anyhow, I hope this video was able to bring some form of value to you. But if you can remember anything from this video, I want you to remember this. Grow through what you go through. Much love.